Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of SavSocial912. I'm here today with Syd Nichole, which you're based in Eastern Wharf with a really cute shop, and we're going to do some floral arrangements while she tells me about what you have going on this spring.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, what better way to start your morning? Doing
I know.
Some flowers, talking with your girls.
Now, I probably could use some supervision, though, because I haven't done many floral arrangements, but maybe this is a good kickoff point. You do workshops,
Yes.
almost weekly, right?
Yeah, almost. We do like one public class a week. And then if you ever want to do a private class, we do that too. If you just have like a bunch of friends that want to get together, come out and have a nice time, we do that. But I always tell people, if you're nervous, it's really hard to screw up flowers.
Yes.
They're so pretty on their own. Right now, they're just thrown in like a black little bucket, and I mean, they're gorgeous.
They do look gorgeous.
It's really hard to screw it up.
Not gonna lie, I am nervous because I haven't really done many floral arrangements. So maybe if you have any tips to like getting started, do you like just pick and go?
Usually I like to start with the greenery. And today it's kind of like a 2-for-1. So I have this gorgeous greens here. It's called Pea Orchid. And they actually do have like these little flowers on them, which are really gorgeous.
Cute.
So it's like a 2-for-1. It's greenery and flowers together. The one thing I will mention, you want to like take off any of the leaves that are going to touch the water line.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, placement and stuff, it's just all like your personal preference, what you like.
Good to know. So why do we take the leaves off?
The more leaves you keep in your water, the more likely it's going to start creating some mold and some growth in your water.
Okay.
And that just means your water is going to get dirty faster than usual.
Got it.
And you want them to be drinking fresh water as long as possible.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get going on this, and I'm sure I'm going to bug you with a few questions about like proper floral arrangements, because like there's ways that you can make your plants or your arrangements like last longer too, right?
Yeah, I see all this time on like social media, people like swearing by certain things.
Oh yeah. I've heard like vodka, I've heard a penny.
Yes. We've been doing the workshops for 5 years now, and we started doing them in like country clubs, and I would have ladies come up to me all the time and like swearing. They're like, you have to try this.
Yeah.
My grandmother swears by putting a little bleach in the water.
What?
Or
Isn't that like counterintuitive?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's maybe like one flower that likes that.
Yes.
I've also heard like aspirin in the water.
Yeah, I think I've heard that as well.
But honestly, I think it's real simple. Just switching out your water, and like I said, removing the leaves so they're drinking really fresh water.
Okay, got it. And like how often should we be changing the water?
Usually like every 2 days.
Okay. I like never think to change it.
Yeah, I'm the worst at it.
Okay.
I never change my water. And I feel like my flowers will just last like a week or so.
Yes.
So I feel like the more you change, the better they'll last. My mom's does this with me too, and she changes her water daily, and her flowers definitely last longer than what I can get mine to last.
Yes. So I think jumping off of your tips and tricks, where did you learn like about the floral industry, and like because you have a retail shop, but also you do a whole floral service like for weddings and events, and tell me how this all started.
Yeah, so we started right outside Atlanta in Alpharetta, Georgia. And my background's primarily in fashion, so I always wanted to have my own clothing store. That was like my goal. And so to this day, we started first with accessories. To this day, I make about 1/3 of everything in the store.
Oh, wow.
Including the fashion, including the jewelry. But I knew the whole time while I wanted to have my own store, I'm like a huge proponent into experiential retail.
Right,
Like you have to do something. No one just wants to go to a store anymore.
Yes.
Like, that's not fun.
And I think that's a trend that's, like, starting to take over Savannah. Like, I know, like, Emily Bargeron is definitely leading the movement with some of that as well at Mess Hall and Amy Ruth. But, like, I think you're doing a good job with that here, because I've heard with retail it's always good to, like, have products, but also to offer a service.
Yes.
Goes a long way. Or, you find a lot of balance in, like, your customer
Yeah, I mean,
clientele.
like online shopping is so easy now.
Yes.
Like, if I can get something online, why would I not do that?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to come in store, I want to have fun. I want to see things that I can't get online.
Yeah.
I want to experience things that I can't do at my house.
I will say too, sorry guys, we're a live store, so we have some customers in here.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, your storefront, when I step into your store, I don't feel like I'm in Savannah. There's something very, like, chic and modern about it. Like, I don't want to say it reminds me of, like, Brooklyn, but it definitely, I'm, like, stepping outside of feeling like I'm somewhere down south, if that makes sense.
Well, I will say I lived and studied in New York for a little bit.
Okay.
And I definitely saw that, everywhere in New York was doing experiential retail too.
Yes.
So it was a lot of, exposure. You got to get out and do something fun and make it feel like you transport people.
Yes.
So I appreciate you saying that.
No, I was in a shop in Soho, and literally they had, like, sand, like a beach set up on the floor, and you had to, like, walk through and look at all the clothing, but, like, stepping on different
so
spots,
cool.
But that was the first, like, exposure to experiential
Yeah, you got it.
Experiential retail. But I think that, like, for Savannah, we're such a tourist-based place that this is definitely, like, there's such a market for this, and I'm glad that you're kind of, like, at the head of this. So I would also just love to know a little bit about, like, your background. You've mentioned that you're from Atlanta.
Yes.
And you must have quite a story to kind of have curated all of this.
Yeah, so like I said, we kind of started first with fashion and stuff, and I did some time in New York, saw that, like, having experience is really important. I also did a study abroad in Paris. And it was
That's fancy.
I loved it. I mean, it was like one of the best times I've ever had. But I studied couture sewing over there, and I noticed, like, it's such, like, a European thing to go shopping.
Yes.
And then to always have fresh flowers in your house. There was, like, always, like, a flower stand outside the shops, and you could grab a bouquet and take it home. And it just really paired well with clothing. So that's why I was like, let's bring a little European flower action into Georgia, and that's kind of what we did.
Oh my God, I love that. And now that you mention it, I can totally, like, feel that vibe.
Yeah.
And, we were talking off camera. I worked on movies and TV shows for a long time, and one of the designers I worked for, she kind of mentioned that, like, when you're designing a set, like someone's bedroom, you should do all the little knickknacks and details that, like, make their character, but she said the last thing you need to do is a layer of plants, because, like, you need to bring some life to the environment or make it seem like someone lives there.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, like, I try to, have some fresh flowers on, like, my vanity, or, like, there's something just about keeping fresh flowers around that just, like, brings life to your house.
Someone said there's, like, a recent study, I don't know if it was Harvard that did it or something, that they found, like, having just, like, fresh flowers and plants in your house can, like, help cure, like, seasonal depression, help boost your mood.
Yeah.
And, like, subconsciously, you're just, like, surrounded by such beauty. It's like,
yes. Well, I think we're plants. Like, we need sunshine and, outdoor time for sure.
I always say it's kind of hard to have, like, a bad day at work when you're surrounded by, like, so many beautiful things.
And I'm sure you have, like, a million amazing arrangements too. So, like, well, okay, finish telling me your life story about getting to Atlanta, but then I definitely want to talk about, the events and arrangements that you've done, because there's some cool ones.
Yeah, so when we were in Atlanta, we were just doing, like, pop-ups on lines and stuff like that. Launched our clothing line, and then we started doing some STEM shops just to kind of test out if we really love flowers.
So what's a STEM shop?
STEM shop is super trendy right now, just to have, like, we'll just bring, like, a bunch of vases with all different kinds of flowers, and then people can just make their own, like, arrangement on spot, or pick out just a couple stems to take home with them. And so we started doing that, and then it was, like, right around COVID. I felt like the only thing that kind of kept me sane during COVID was being creative.
Yes.
Because I was stuck at home, and I really was, like, antsy. I was like, let me just start arranging, getting back into design. And I was like, I bet people want to do the same. Mm-hmm. So then we launched the workshops, and it just really exploded from there.
Yeah.
And we did classes all over Atlanta. I've literally done every country club, every social group in and around Atlanta. And then we brought it to Savannah.
Love that. So how long have you been set up in Savannah?
The store has been open almost 2 years in July, but we moved down here about 3 years ago.
So what appealed to you about Savannah?
Oh my gosh. So at the time, I was looking for a store, more permanent location. I was looking in Atlanta.
Yes.
But my husband had a job down in Statesboro.
Okay.
And so just for the fun of it, I was like, I'm going to just look around Savannah. And I absolutely fell in love with it.
Yeah, and so you're based in Eastern Wharf, which is right across from the Thompson Hotel.
Yes.
And so, like, this is obviously a very up-and-coming area, and I think you're one of the first, like, true retail stores on the block. So, like, how did you kind of, like, find this spot? Did you know it was up-and-coming, or, like, you know?
We, to be honest, I didn't even have like a real estate agent here yet. My real estate agent for looking was based out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was just driving around, saw all the construction over here and was like kind of curious about what was going on. And when I looked into it, the developers who built this are based out of Atlanta.
Got it.
And have done a lot of projects that we were familiar with and then I had done pop-ups with in Atlanta. And so I was like, I get the overall vision of what they're trying to do with Eastern Wharf. I could see it. And I really love the mixed use project, like having, the hotel where you can go and you get the tourists, but then you have apartments, houses, a lot of locals.
And we've had a lot of apartments pop up, like Pilot Park just had their grand opening.
Yes.
Riverworks is right next door, which has a lot of great people living there too. So I feel like you not like struck a gold mine or whatever, but it's very fortunate for you to like be up and established so early on into like this little like borough of Savannah developing, because it just seems like more and more is going up on this side, over by President Street and all that. So so was it hard getting a storefront and like putting all of this together?
We were crazy story about this. We were we were the first people to sign an Eastern Wharf here. The day I toured it was actually, if you're local, you'll know, the whole building caught fire.
Yes.
I toured it the day before it caught fire.
Oh my God.
I called my real estate agent in Atlanta. I was on my way back to Atlanta, and I was like, I think I could really see myself having a store here.
Of course.
And she goes, Sydney, I think you're going to have to put that on hold. The whole building just caught fire.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, is this a sign that like it wasn't meant to be?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what's going on.
It's like you live in a TV show.
Yes. I was like, this is definitely like a nightmare, because I was like literally like, let's get a contract, let's sign like today. It ended up being a blessing in disguise though, because then a month later COVID hit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So then it would have been halted anyways. But we kept on the project. I still kind of was like looking around, and I always in my mind was like coming back to, I really love Savannah.
Yes.
I really love this side of it.
So how long did COVID like back you up in getting this open?
We ended up signing almost a year later.
Okay.
I think it took them about like 6 months to kind of rebuild.
Yes.
Luckily, not everything. They were still able to like salvage a lot of it.
Yes.
The whole thing just didn't burn down to the ground. So we were able to. They built it up back quick, and then we took up probably about like a year later.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story! Or like that's part of the reason why I love doing these interviews and like getting to talk to people, because like, there aren't many instances where you can bring up like the ins and outs of how you got going.
Yeah.
Everybody sees you for, what you've built so far, but that's a crazy story, and I'm glad it all ended up working out. Like, alignment is definitely hard to find, and it's exciting to build a business that you're doing something you're passionate about.
Yes.
So quick check-in. I feel like our arrangements are looking very different.
Oh, but hey, I love that.
Mine, I think, is a little bit flimsy, a little bit whimsical. So, like, okay, I'm just trying to understand how flower arrangements work. So, your shape is really beautiful. Do you start with, like, shorter and work your way out? Or, like, how do you kind of make it not so
I don't overthink
wonky?
It. Sometimes I will do something that's, like, maybe subconsciously, we've been doing Easter arrangements lately, and with our Easter arrangements, everything is like really tight and rounded.
Yes.
But then like before that, we were doing a wedding that was like super tall. Everything was like light and airy. So I think it was just like the mood that I was in, really a little bit tight. I think yours looks great too.
Thanks.
I would say add just maybe like a couple tall pieces out in the back.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I just went a little too like hardcore. Maybe I can trim some of these down a little bit.
You can trim it down. Just keep adding a couple more pieces. I always tell people, like, don't overthink it.
I am an overthinker, so.
I feel like that's part of the beauty in flower arranging. I feel like once you start doing it, it's a little bit relaxing.
Yes.
And you just kind of, like, let it kind of flow.
Yes, let it flow. So do you, like, research arrangements and get inspired, or, like, how do you, like, what's your creative approach with making floral arrangements?
You know, I'll say, too, that brings up a good point. Like, my flower design approach is very similar to the way I approach fashion design.
Okay.
So I always tell people, if you're creative at all, they're all kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like, my approach is very, like, I usually start with, like, some inspiration. Maybe it's not even, like, necessarily a flower arrangement. Maybe it's, like, some sort of, like, artwork that I've seen or, like, a sculpture that I'm really inspired by. I start with kind of, like, photos and inspiration, and then just kind of, like, take it from there.
Yes.
Very similar to how I start, like, a dress design or anything like that. So if you're creative, you can usually pick up flower design really easy. If you're not creative, I recommend a little alcohol.
Yes. Oh, man. Alcohol would probably make my arrangement way better.
Yeah.
Yes. And I want to know more about, like, the fashion design element, because, like, you know, I live in the area, and I definitely know your brand and your store for, like, retail and flowers, but I didn't know you were, like, designing behind that. So how, like, do you like the sewing part? Do you, like, design it and get it made? Or, you know, what defines design for you?
It's kind of a mix of both. So for me, it's, like, what the piece is and what makes sense, like, from an economical standpoint.
Yes.
Like, would it be cheaper if I do it? Is it cheaper if we go to a manufacturer and do it?
Yes.
So it's a little bit of both. For instance, our big thing in our store is our denim jackets that I do.
Yes.
That have, like,
you have a whole wall of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they all have, like, floral lace. I try to incorporate flowers into my fashion design too.
Yes.
So, like, those that we do in-house. But then I also have a manufacturer out of Alpharetta, and we work with them a lot to do some of the other pieces.
Yes.
As well.
And then, so you guys do flower workshops, and then you also have done hat workshops, right?
Yes.
Yes. Very cool.
Oh my gosh, we have maybe over 30 different type of workshops that we offer.
Wow.
Some of them do combine, like, fashion and flowers together, like the hat class. So we're not like a typical hat bar. We use all dried flowers to decorate the hats with. But that one is one of my favorites because it does combine both of them perfectly.
Yeah, I just think you're doing such a good job, like, multi-purposing your retail space, but also creating, like, you know, opportunities for our community to come and, like, be creative and to do something different. You know, I saw you had a really cute, like, Valentine's Day event. You did a Bridgerton-inspired event. I saw a Sabrina Carpenter one. You know, I love how you're always kind of, like, thinking forward and getting creative with, like, what there's such a range in what you can do.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, the ideas are endless, and sometimes we even have customers that will bring up ideas
okay.
too.
Cool.
I have a group of girls. They have a book club, and they're doing Pride and Prejudice.
So cute.
So we're doing a Pride and Prejudice class coming up.
Love how that would probably look in a vase or in a floral arrangement. So why don't we get into, like, the fun part of my podcast, which is just talking about events that you have going on in the spring and summer, or, you know, however far ahead you want to pitch what you're doing. But
yeah, we just put out our whole May calendar, which is, like, jam-packed. We have Cinco de Mayo coming up. We're doing my favorite class, which is our margarita-inspired workshop.
Oh, cool.
So we're using tequila bottles as vases. Then we're doing Kentucky Derby flower fascinators.
Fun. And I know last year you had like fun hats that you were, or headbands you were doing for the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, so we make fresh flower fascinators for the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, so if you ladies have any parties coming up for the Kentucky Derby, I would definitely get a cute little headband from her. Fascinator?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I know hats are like a big tradition too.
There's also one that I haven't put out on the website yet. I'm working on it as we speak.
Oh, a SavSocial exclusive.
Yes. Savannah Bee Company reached out to us.
Oh, cool.
And we're doing a mead tasting and dried flower workshop with Savannah Bee. So we're going to be decorating mead bottles.
That's so fun.
And that's actually going to be at their River Street location.
Love that. Do you have a date set for that yet?
We're going back on further dates now. It will be end of May. So I should know the date in the next couple days.
That is something when I have people come into town, if you're local or if you're someone visiting Savannah, I definitely would stop by the Savannah Bee Company. They do, I think it's like $20 for a full mead tasting, but it's kind of fun to have some drinks. They're like kind of high proof. They taste really yummy. They're kind of like champagne, but also they can have like wine one. There's a lot of range there. So like if you and your girlfriends are here for like a bachelorette party, I would stop in and just do a tasting to like, if you have to kill time before dinner or like walking the river because they have 2 locations.
Yes.
So I can see how like doing floral arrangements would be really fun. And also bees love flowers, so like, what a great collaboration.
Yeah, they reached out and they were like, what's better than, bees with flowers? I mean, that's like perfect combo. I think it goes well. And like, not a lot of people get a chance to like try mead.
Yes.
So it's a great opportunity if you've never tried it. They have like a giant selection. So it'll be really fun.
And I think, I don't want to gossip on my socials podcast, but I do think that Savannah Bee's working on like a mead distillery or some sort of like event space over on the west side by End Market.
Oh.
So I don't know if they'll be mad that I shared that, but there's going to be a lot more with mead kind of like popping up in the city, cool. Which will be awesome. And I'm sure you will probably do some fabulous events there as well. I like where mine is going. Is it okay that does it have to be like a full 180 thing, or can like the back be? I could probably shove just like a nice flower.
Yeah, I would put maybe
back
like
in
one
here.
of those. Yeah.
I could do this for hours, so it's like so relaxing.
Right?
Yes. So do you have any other like kind of lessons learned about having a retail space over at Eastern Wharf?
Oh my gosh. I don't know, that's hard because we do so much here. We do the clothing, we do the workshops, we do weddings, events, everyday stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, and I do like everything. We're a very small business.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yes, you were like Wonder Woman.
I've learned so much in business. I feel like every day I'm learning something new.
Yes. And I mean, for being a business owner, there's like no right way to do anything. Okay, also, I have to laugh. I'm just seeing the monitor. If this podcast, my face is covered by the flowers.
Did we go too tall?
I went too tall. You're totally perfect, but I'm like hiding behind these, which is totally fine. Or y'all know what my face looks like. So as long as you're clear, but I am happy with her. She's looking.
I've done social media posts before where I'm like making an arrangement for a customer, and I start really small, and then I notice by the end of it, like I've gone like too tall.
Yes.
That like you can't see me at all.
Yes. Hold on. I'm trying to make that adjustment, y'all. This is a very long conversation, so I'm sure. Actually, trimming it down.
It looks really cute.
Definitely gotten cuter.
It turned out so good.
Thank you. Well, with some of your guidance and cool tips. So remind me one more time, since now we have our floral arrangement like pretty much done, how do I preserve this as best as I can?
I would say the key for your bigger blooms, especially you got some hydrangeas in yours.
Yes.
I would retrim your stems maybe every like 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Mainly just the big blooms. You don't have to do all your greenery and stuff like that. So mainly like your hydrangeas. We got some mums in here. just trim off the bottom just like a little bit, and then re-switching your water every couple days is key.
I never think to re-switch it, so I'm really glad that you said something.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm always just like, I have a vase and flowers, and I'm just going to let them exist until they, rot out. One last question. Is there a way to, like, dry flower? I know you have a whole, like, dry bar of flowers, but, like, how... If I wanted to save some from a special occasion or something, like...
Drying really depends on the type of flower. Not all flowers will dry well.
Okay.
I usually would just recommend, if you're planning to dry, the key is not to let, like, the sunlight get to them.
Okay.
So if you're going to dry your arrangement, put it away from, like, a window. Make sure it's in, like, a cooler environment. You don't want your house, like, super hot. Or, like, right by the door where it's always getting, some warm air and humidity from Savannah. And then just, like, slowly kind of let your water dry out. Re-switch water every couple days, but then just slowly get less and less water. You don't want to have all the stems be sitting in water, mainly just the bottom.
Got it. I'm glad to make a friend who's a plant expert because I am a plant killer. So happy to get some tips and tricks. Well, thank you for joining me and kind of giving me some insights. Do you have any other events you want to talk about? Do you have a Mother's Day thing going on?
We do have Mother's Day. We're doing a Mother's Day tea party. It's going to be Alice in Wonderland themed.
Ooh, super cute.
We're going to do a tea tasting. You're going to get a teapot as a vase. And then we're just now doing the schedule for June and July, but we always do really fun events around the holidays, so check us out for 4th of July if you're doing a 4th of July party. Don't forget, like, a centerpiece for your table.
I know, and I think too, like, this is a great place if you need a gift and don't know what to get someone. Flowers are always good. For all the guys who watch this podcast, if you're looking to, surprise your girlfriend with something, come stop by and get a cute arrangement from Syd Nichole. It's gonna be.
And we actually just started on DoorDash too.
Oh, cool.
So even if you don't want to come here and you want flowers delivered to your door, you can literally order them at any time.
Oh my gosh.
And they'll deliver them.
I'm sure you're gonna make a killing on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes, love that. All right, guys. Well, make sure that you come and see Syd Nichole. We have beautiful arrangements. I actually appreciate your tips because now I think.
Yeah, it turned out so cute.
She's a lot shorter now, so you can see me. But awesome. Well, I hope to catch up with you soon. Maybe like this summer, do like a follow-up episode.
Yeah.
If you have any events coming
Thanks so
into
much
town,
for
let me
having
know.
I love that you're doing this.
Me too. Thank you. It's been a blast. And for everybody who's watching, Syd Nichole obviously has her store and then flower workshops, and then the Thompson is doing a new happy hour. Which is, I think, around like 5 o'clock. They're doing $5 espresso martinis and I think like champagne and cocktail specials. So I don't know if it's just on Thursdays or every day. So look into it. But come across the street and see this amazing shop.
Cool. Thanks
Awesome.
so much.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Sydney. We'll talk soon. Thanks again for watching another episode of the SavSocial912 podcast. And you stay social, Savannah.